Good afternoon and welcome to Don't You Know I've Had a Stroke with your host Mike Peters, that's me, and a special guest today which we'll bring on in a moment. But can I just say we are live on Facebook and YouTube because I'm a global internet sensation. And if you're watching, please comment who you are and where you're from, because I know I'm big over in the USA. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on my guest, who's a friend, but also a teacher. And welcome to Ali. Hi, Ali.
Hello. Hi, you alright?
I'm good, thank you. You're looking very fresh.
Well, I had to go and pick my 4-year-old up from school, so the hair was done this morning, and then it was nice and bright and fresh and windy outside. So I now look like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. But there we are. Hey ho.
However, can you see the comments, Ali?
I can. Hi, Jerry.
From Austin, Texas. I did tell you.
You are a global internet sensation like you. Aloha from California.
And that's Sulu, who's a caregiver for her husband, Tom, who's not very well at the moment. So sending loads of love for Tom, Sulu. And it was his birthday, so happy birthday, Tom.
Birthday.
I'm glad he didn't go to. He's known as Houdini because he escapes from his wheelchair. It's not funny. Right, let's start. I've got my clipboard. Anything you don't want to talk about, just answer the question, please. Right, who is Alison Withers?
Well, I am now a 30-year-old, young-ish, I know, person. I live in South Wales, in Llantyr Major, just down the road from Mikey P. And I trained as a drama teacher. And during my training, I met my husband, called Harry. And he is still a drama teacher. I've moved over from teaching drama now, mainly to teaching English in secondary school. So I teach children from ages 11 up to 18. And my other role is that I run Stage 1 Youth Theatre in Llantyr Major, which is an incredible organisation that was set up by Mike back in 2007. And when my 4-year-old was born, I was having Ollie in one wing of the Heath Hospital, and Mike was having lots of complications following a heart attack in another wing of the hospital. So just after Ollie was born, my husband said to me, something I need to tell you. Mike's not very well, and he's in that building there. And Mike and I have worked very, very closely over the years with Stage Door. And then I think it was 2018?
16.
So 2016 was when you were poorly. And then I think it would possibly 2017, early 2018, that Mike said, I need to move away from Stage Door now. I need to have a break from this. So I carried it on, and we've been carried on ever since then. So I'm a 30-year-old living in South Wales, mum to Ollie, wife to Harry, English teacher in a local comprehensive school, and artistic director of Stage Door 1.
Yeah, so I can always remember, I got that on my notes that you were having a baby in one part and I was having stents fitted in my heart on the other side of the hospital. Yeah. It's quite funny, really, isn't it?
Well, I did joke to Harry, see, Mike can't stay away from me. He can't stay away from me. We just work too well together.
I can remember the day you came to visit me when after my stroke in Princess of Wales with Ollie, and Ollie used to hold on to the rails of the bed. That cheered me up so much because I was depressed, wasn't I?
It was a really incredibly difficult time. It was a really incredibly difficult time because I think if you go from being someone who is very active and someone who is fiercely independent and in charge of everything that's happening around you, to someone who's not able to make decisions about the simplest things that are happening to them because medical care has taken over, then that's a really, really difficult situation for anybody.
Because I didn't think they were going to let you in, did I?
No, and there was a time that I came to say goodbye. There was a time that I came to say goodbye, and I left Ollie in the car with my mum, and I came.
Please don't, I'm filling up.
Yeah, because Jude had phoned me to say that you were really poorly, and I came to the hospital expecting that it might be the last time that I would see you.
But I was there in bed, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was one night when, after I got sepsis, I really thought it was the end, and I begged them to phone Jude, and they didn't want to. I said, and then one little nurse said, "I'll do it," because I did think it was the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm still here, and
still
we had a great time, didn't we? Staged all. Yeah. I think we made a good team.
Yeah.
Especially when you had to put my eyelashes on as a Dane.
Mike, there are things that I have done for your costuming that no one should ever do for somebody else.
We won't mention gaffer tape.
We won't mention gaffer tape, and we won't mention the gold lame leotards either.
I know. I was trying to find a clip of it, but I couldn't find it. It still haunts people now.
It still haunts me. The gaffer tape and the extra pairs of pants and the where's my bra gone and my eyelashes are falling off. And that was all you. That was all you.
There's one thing I'm going to say to you, and you'll have to explain to my audience. Candlesticks.
Oh, the candlesticks. Okay, so we rehearsed and performed Les Miserables, back in... Oh, dates. Okay, dates-wise, this is where I've got to count backwards. So if Ollie was born in 2016, that means we did Starlight in 2015. So we did JC in 2014. So we did Les Mis in 2013. Yes, so 2013, we performed Les Mis. And Mike said to me one day as we were rehearsing it, "I've had an idea. Jean Valjean, at the very end, should have the silver candlesticks with him. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for the journey that he's gone on. And he should be there at the very, very end with these silver candlesticks." And Mike was telling me all about, I've had a dream about this. It has to happen. And so we made it happen. We made the silver candlesticks happen. But the silver candlesticks became a little bit of a metaphor then, didn't they? For something very dramery, very, very serious. So we still joke even today about the silver candlesticks.
So Jerry's trying to get the dirt on me. Tell us secrets about Mike.
I think the gold lame leotard and the wigs and the eyelashes is probably as scandalous as I think we can probably get away with.
Yeah, we're still in the watershed.
Yeah.
And when you're an internet sensation, global internet sensation, Right, I'm going to ask you a question now. Who was Mike before his stroke?
Mike was the person that I would go to the next sale with at 5 o'clock in the morning and laugh my head off about the look that he would give other people as they would barge past us. You do this. And I would be wetting myself the entire time. Mike was a person who would always make me smile on a Saturday morning. We'd have croissants with cheese and Lurpak or crumpets for breakfast in the morning, and then we'd spend 3 or 4 hours dancing our socks off and giggling away, and then rest along the way, but it would always be something that we would get through together. And Mike is the person who, when it came to show weekend or tackle weekend, he's the person who would walk in with coffee that had far more sugar in it than actual coffee, And he would say, right, this is going to happen, and this is going to happen, and this is going to happen. And then he'd walk out and he'd go and do a job somewhere else. And I would be left there thinking, I've got no idea what's going on. And then I'd pick up the pieces and we'd work it out. And then he'd come back in and go, that's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted. And we would work it through together. And there would be times that I would say, Mike, I've got no idea what's going on here. I can't deal with this. And we would just get through it together. We were a team. We were always a team. Always a team.
So Bethany, who's my main carer, said he still pulls that face. I'm gonna sack her. But there's one thing you've got to say. I always knew my lines.
No, you never knew your lines. You never knew your lines. To the point where you would nag other people about learning their lines, and especially their cue lines, and you would never know your own.
I was a pro.
You would know them by the show, but you would not know them at the dress rehearsal.
I can remember trying to go to a ladies' shoe shop and buy size 11s and try them on in the shop. I got some funny looks.
Yes, you did. And there was always a bank of shoes. There was a collection of shoes that were men's sizes sort of 9 through to 12, just in case we needed them.
And my thigh length orange boots.
Yes, I'm sure they still exist somewhere. They're giving someone like those somewhere.
They're in my wardrobe. You never know. I'm determined. I will be back on stage. Yes, I'll be in this electric wheelchair, but why not? I said I'm going to become a sit-down comic.
That sounds like a very good idea. Sounds like a very good idea. You cut out in the middle of it, so I had to piece it together.
I said I'm going to become a sit-down comic. Do you get it?
I do. Absolutely.
And I've been discussing with Jude. I'm going to go on RuPaul's Drag Race UK, and my name's going to be Meals on Wheels. Right, John Murphy. What's he on about now? Did he write them on the back of his hand?
Yes, he did. At least once. At least once. He came onto stage reading them off his hand like this at least once. At least once.
But I always knew the dance routines. I was famous for them, wasn't I?
You always knew your version of the dance routines and everyone else followed along.
I can remember the first time I was ever lifted by the boys. I can't remember.
I can't remember what show it was in. We did some brilliant pantos. So we did panto once a year, every year. It tended to be January time, and Mike was always the dame. Always the dame. And we did some brilliant pantos. We really did. Really, really did.
I mean,
Cheryl Cole, Fight for This Love. And we did Beyonce once, didn't we?
You put a ring on it.
That's the one. And my favourite was the Ollie Murs song. The one that Eagle choreographed to start off with. Dance With Me Tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Dance With Me Tonight. That was always my favourite.
The looks from some of the boys there who had to dance with me, they looked petrified.
Well, they were scared. It was completely out of their comfort zone, wasn't it? But it was always lovely to see that when they were on stage, they really did bring it to life. They really did. Everyone to at least once.
How do you think we've affected these young people's lives?
Well, there are more actors and actresses and so on in the world now as a result of some of the things that we've done. But I think beyond that, we've given some people a family, and we've given them friendship, and we've given them family. Not that they haven't already had that, but you know, Stage Door One has never been it's never been exclusive. We've always been very, very inclusive. We've always celebrated people as much as possible. Yes, absolutely, there is the issue of things like casting shows and so on, because ultimately when it comes to casting a show, you've got to put the person in that you think is going to be right for the role. But we've given people a voice, we've given them confidence, we've given them a chance to perform, a chance to work with others in a way that they never will have done in their lives.
I think the one thing I was proud of, I always did it fair, didn't we, on audition day? We all had scorecards and things.
Yeah.
And it was all done fair and square.
And I really do think that to be fair to us, every show we've cast has been spot on.
English teacher.
Spot on.
Call yourself an English teacher.
I know. Lockdown break, post-COVID brain fog.
Right, let's talk about teaching. Are you doing online teaching?
Yes.
No face-to-face?
So I'm going into school sometimes, not very often, because there's nobody else there. Any of the children who are coming into school are working in our school hub, so they're not in the classrooms with where I would be teaching them normally anyway. So it's quite lonely to just be in school on my own. So I've gone in sort of once a week, but I tend to work from home for the other days. And I'm doing a mix of live teaching, sending pre-prepared, pre-recorded videos that we've recorded. Either I've recorded myself or we've recorded as a department, for students to watch and then listen and go back to. And we find them really helpful, actually, because the students can pause them and go back and check them and so on. And obviously they can't do that with live lessons. And then also doing lots of booklet work and so on. So we've made booklets for all the students with everything that they need in. And then those are uploaded digitally. And then for each lesson, we'll say, oh, we're going to work on this section today. Could you do these tasks, please? And so on. So it's a real mixed bag.
So in the UK at the moment, teachers aren't being given the vaccine. Do you think they should be?
I think that I find it quite galling to hear it being said again and again and again that schools are safe. I find that quite galling because we know that COVID is transmitted by people being in the same space as one another, and it's transmitted by people breathing infected droplets and so on, or by touching surfaces, and then you pick it up and it gets into your body. And when we returned to school back in September last year, my school, I felt, had done as much as they possibly could to try and make everything as safe as possible. But the reality was that I was in a room with 32 teenagers who really are basically adults themselves. They're as big as adults, a lot of them, sitting next to one another, all facing the front, all breathing at me. Windows open, door open, but we're in that room together for an hour at a time. And I had a box that I had to stay in. Whether that box was actually 2 meters away from those students or not, I need to get my tape measure out really to make certain of that.
I've always wanted to put you in a box.
Pardon?
I've always wanted to put you in a box.
and put me away somewhere.
So, but you caught COVID, didn't you?
Yeah, so I had COVID I tested positive on the 14th of December. So schools broke up. Schools were going to break up for Christmas a little bit early from face-to-face teaching, and we were going to provide online teaching for that last week of term. I think the Monday was it the 15th was the Monday? 15th of December was the Monday.
Don't ask me, I've had a stroke.
And so we were in school on the Friday. Saturday morning, I woke up just with a bit of a headache. I just felt tired, a bit of a headache, nothing that is unusual for me at the end of a term, and nothing that's unusual for me in general, to be honest. A bit tired, a bit of a headache. And I went to stage door. We were still managing face-to-face rehearsals at that time. So I went to stage door, had a rehearsal, and then came home, felt really tired, had a little nap. And then overnight, my temperature just went up. And so I got a test the next morning, and it came back positive within the same day.
And did it frighten you?
Yes. Yes. I was very lucky that my symptoms weren't horrendous. I was exhausted to the point where I could barely get out of bed. I was very, very lucky that my husband and my 4-year-old, if they did catch it, which we sort of almost have to assume that they did have it, they didn't have any symptoms. So they were both asymptomatic. My smell and taste was affected. I had a cough. I felt very out of breath. Even walking up the stairs, I was out of breath. But I didn't have to go to hospital. I didn't have to have oxygen or anything like that. But what I have found is that it's very long lasting. So the cough went away within about 2 weeks. My temperature was back down to being normal within a couple of days. But just before half term, I woke up with I don't know if you can still see a little bit of it actually. I woke up with a marble basically here on my windpipe. And the doctor couldn't find a reason for it. Thyroid is here, so not thyroid. Glands are up here, so not glandular. And some sort of lymph node possibly. I mean, it's still down. And again, they can't find a reason for it apart from it's some sort of post-COVID reaction.
Did it affect your singing voice?
Oh, we know my singing voice is beautiful.
Sorry.
We know that my singing voice is just angelic. It's angelic.
Can we just talk about your wonderful parents, please?
Yeah.
Because I know they're a big help to you. And
yeah.
When I first had my stroke, they built a ramp outside my house
and it's
between
still there?
both of them. And it's still there. Obviously, I'm not there, but they're wonderful, aren't they?
Yeah, they are incredible people.
Christine and Mike.
Yeah. Christine and Mike.
And we'll have to mention your brother as well.
Yeah, we have to mention Ben as well.
Brother Ben.
Brother Ben.
I'm gonna remove myself and show a couple of pictures, and then we'll talk about them. Okay?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I chopped Harry's head off. Please apologize. And lovely Ollie with the sunflowers.
So there's a beautiful farm on the way to the beach called Rosedew Farm, and over the summer last year they grew and created a field of sunflowers, and we had a little trip down there over the summer holidays last year, and it was just beautiful. And that's my little Ollie, and he's 4 now, and he's Captain Chaos. He is Captain Chaos.
Talking about family, I've got a little surprise. This is somebody who was part of our Stage Door 1 family. Hi, Helen.
Ash! Hello.
Is she muted?
I think she's muted.
You're muted. Oh, she's arguing with me again.
Can you hear me now?
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah!
Hello.
Laptop, so I don't know what I'm doing. Hi!
So long. How's it going?
I'm good. Mike messaged me earlier going, we're going to surprise Ali. You need to come on. on. I was like, okay, I'm going to leg it home from work and I'll be there.
I was saying I went to pick Ollie up from school. I did do my hair this morning, but I went to pick Ollie up from school, and it was just like.
I've been backstage for the past half hour. I've seen all of this.
So, Chess, you're a teacher as well. Where are you in school?
I am in school, yeah. I'm actually the safeguarding lead of my school as well. So it has been absolutely mental. Yeah, absolutely mental. So I'm a drama teacher as well, and I teach vocational and life skills to our special educational needs kids at our school. And I am the safeguarding lead now. Hi, Jerry. Hi. So I'm in school pretty much every single day, making sure that the kids are okay, doing welfare checks, doing all sorts of stuff. So yeah, it's a crazy time to be around at the moment.
That prompts me to my next question for both of you. How do you think this has affected the mental health and well-being of our young adults? Helen, you go first.
So this is actually, I've had a meeting about this today, the never-ending meetings. I think you are absolutely. I think we're heading towards a big wave of issues. I don't think we're actually going to recognise how this has impacted our students and our young people until probably over the next few years. I don't think young people have actually come to terms with how much of a trauma this is actually going to cause. I mean, I can't go into personal details, but we've had quite significant grievances at our school about families passing away, colleagues, all sorts of stuff up where we are in Midlands. And I don't think students are really going to recognise how much they miss each other and how much this has changed their lives quite significantly. So yes, I don't actually know what the beast is going to look like yet, but it's going to be a scary one, I think, for everybody.
And Ali?
I completely agree with everything you've said. Completely agree. I think
said you used to gang up on me.
I think we need to be really careful as well about the sort of language that we're using to talk about what happens next. You know, the media agenda at the moment seems to be very much that these students have missed out and they need to catch up. But really, if you think about education today, the students that I am teaching now and that we are educating will cover more in an hour's lesson than I think probably Chesh and I would have covered in an entire day's worth of schooling.
100%,
so we've set the bar higher and higher and higher and higher, and that's a good thing, you know, as an educational establishment, as a country and as a nation, we should be setting the bar higher and higher and higher. But I think at some point we have to take a step back and say, okay, but they haven't missed out. They don't need to catch up. We just need to work out where they are now so that we can take them on to where they need, you know, where they need to go next.
Yeah.
I think that the whole sense of a catch-up agenda really does not sit very well with me in the slightest.
No, really.
And I personally, for my own mental health, I don't want someone saying to me, "You've missed out. You need to catch up." I want someone saying to me, "Right, well, let's just carry on. What can we do next?" My 4-year-old is an only child, and he doesn't have any brothers or sisters. And seeing him revert back to sort of like 2-year-old temper tantrums with the aggression and the hitting and the biting and the kicking and so on, because he's just frustrated because he's missing out on that social interaction with his peers as well, has been heartbreaking. It's been heartbreaking. There's nothing I can do to fix it. There's nothing I can do to fix it.
I came to visit. All he wanted to do was shut the door on me.
Oh.
I don't want you here, Mike. Shut the door.
Who did that?
Ollie.
Oh, Ollie, yeah. Yeah.
And it was sweet, really, because I bought him a present and he came to get it and he said, Mommy, am I allowed? Am I too close? And I thought, that really upset me, actually.
Yeah. And you can see that he's so not used. He's a little bit better now, but through the first lockdown, he was so not used to being around other people all of a sudden that, again, It's like, oh, is it okay? Can I do this? You know, do I need to be scared of other people? You know, there are children who have been born just before the first lockdown happened, who as of yet have never been to a supermarket. They've never been to a park, really. They've never been to a zoo. You know, they've never been anywhere apart from the four walls of their own home. And I think that what comes next is terrifying. But what I do think is a positive is that over the last few years, people have talked about mental health a lot more than we have ever done before. I remember doing my own A-levels and feeling quite numb. I felt quite very overwhelmed and feeling quite numb. And I think looking back on it, I probably needed some help. But at the time, I didn't feel like that was something that I should or could say. Whereas now we're much better at saying, right, tell me if you need help, or these are the signs that we're looking out for, or, you know, this is what help is available. And hopefully that will help a little. But I think you're right. I think it's just going to be a tidal wave.
Yeah.
Tidal wave.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, can I just say, you as teachers, you're doing a bloody fantastic job. I'm not sure I can say bloody, but I did anyway. It's my show. I can do it around. You know me, stubborn as hell.
You're a global internet sensation, Mike. You do what you want.
Are you catching on? Right, one last question before we go, because we're approaching that time. If they made a film of Ocelot, who would play you, please? Ali?
Oh. Well, it would have to be someone like Jessica Alba, because she's just the most beautiful person in the whole wide world, and you know.
And Jess, who'd play you?
I see myself as a young Dawn French, to be honest. I think Dawn French would play a good Chesh. I do.
But Chesh, do you reckon, could they do a little rendition, one show more for the last tour of Ladies as well as us?
I wish we'd filmed that, Ali, because that was iconic. Absolutely iconic.
Every now and then, I have little flashbacks to the lyrics that we wrote for that. And yeah, it was iconic.
I had a flashback to a play. I don't know whether both of you were in it. It'd Be My Baby.
I saw that. You directed it, Ali.
Yeah, with my girls in sixth form.
Oh, yeah. It's so good.
That was my debut.
And Chesh, you've got an amazing voice. So I think they saw it on my Christmas show when you were Eva Peron in a
Vita. Yeah. With my bleached blonde hair. That was good. Good times. Back when we could actually do show. Say again.
I like bleach blonde.
I'm missing it a little bit. But like you said earlier about not being able to go to the hairdressers, I've got a box dye waiting for me to do tonight.
Look at my root. And it's all going grey. Hang on, it's all going grey under here as well.
My 30th in January, guys. 2 days after I found grey hair. And that's a big, literally 2 days after I turned 30. That's it. The end.
Yeah, it's not good.
So, Chesh, how's your husband?
He's fine. He's literally just gotten home now. He's got more tattoos, Mike. I'm sure you'd be happy to know.
That's a bit of an in-joke because I feel
like there needs some context here. So we had Christmas. I miss our salmon side at Christmas time. We had a Christmas buffet, a little cheeky Christmas buffet one year. And we'd all had a couple of glasses of wine, and Mike started telling us about how he really, really hated tattoos, really disliked tattoos.
Just to go back, I think this is the first time that Mike had actually met Gaz as well. Very first time that he'd met my husband. My husband's got a massive arm tattoo, and Mike's going, I really hate tattoos.
Really hate tattoos. Why would anyone bother to get a tattoo? It's a waste of money. And just he went on and on and on and on until eventually, after talking to Gaz for a few minutes, he was going, oh, well, I quite like tattoos. I might get one myself now.
And my wife came back from a trip away, and a couple of weeks later, she had a tattoo done on her. Can you believe that?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. You've not been tempted yet, then, Mike?
Actually, I have. I'm thinking I want a little foot, and I've got to share a joke with you. You know how I like a bargain, Ali, and we talked about.
No.
Well, I thought I wanted a mini grabber. And I didn't just buy one. I bought a bloody packet. I won't tell you what Jude said.
No, don't tell us what Jude said, especially not if we're before the watershed.
Right, guys, keep up the brilliant work. You know I love you both dearly, and we will be together again and to have a drink at some point when this global pandemic is over, which I'm sure it will be. But for now, I'm going to get rid of you and play my closing titles, which is me singing a song in stage door. So stay there and I'll talk to you in a minute. Thanks again. Say bye-bye to my audience.
Bye, Vince.